All right. Thanks again, Russell. Welcome, everyone, for joining to tonight's Board of Trustees meeting, August 25th, 2020. As always, we can begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So tonight, Russell, maybe you can remind us, do we have any public comment, or is there any participants this evening who would like to make a public comment?
We do. We have Andrea Nardi, who is representing Southampton Youth Association. So I'm going to allow her to talk now.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Can.
Yes, awesome. I have some fun slides, but I don't think the format will allow me to show them. I just wanted to touch base with everyone. I'm Andrea Dozier-Nardi. I'm the Executive Director of the Southampton Youth Association. We have, our theme this year is Distance Makes the Fun Grow Stronger. In spite of COVID-19, we are committed to facilitating fun and safe programming for kids in the Southampton and Tuckahoe School District. We have had a huge problem because of the regulations with the school, which is the facility we have been using for the past 51 years. We are not able to use the facilities this year. And so this summer, actually, we were able to use the village basketball courts to run a basketball drills and skills program. We ran virtual hip hop and virtual yoga classes. And then our friends over at the Parish Art Museum allowed us to run a summer recreation art and discovery program for 1 month. All of these programs capped out at 10 or 11 participants. We are keeping our programs small so that they are safe. We've had no health issues, which is awesome. And we've put in a lot of regulations in terms of checking temperatures upon arrival, wearing masks when kids are close with one another, but during recreation, removing them for safety, keeping kids 6 feet apart, providing sanitizer, and not sharing materials. So for the programs, we've been able to provide materials for each kid so that they're never sharing, and they can reuse their own materials and sanitizing those in between. This fall, we would like to run a fall basketball clinic again. I had given Trustee Kimberly some slightly different times, but we want to run basketball, a San Lung Tao martial arts class, and possibly a Latin dance class. We would like to run these programs from September 14th through October 23rd. For basketball, we're requesting the basketball courts again on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4:45 to 6:15. For the martial arts class, we're requesting the Cultural Arts Center if possible, so that we would not have to deal with rain dates. And again, these programs are only 10 or 11 participants from 4:45 to 6:15. And if we are able to put on Latin dance, we would also like to use Cultural Arts Center on Wednesdays from 4 to 5 p.m. So that is our ask. We are literally following every guideline. We're staying in contact with other organizations so that we're on top of what we need to so that we can keep our kids safe. But with school sports being up in the air, parents are really requesting that we continue to run programs, even if it is only for 10 or 11 kids at that time. We do thank you all for your support. The board also thanks everyone in the village, trustees, and just the community for all of the support. And I think that's my 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time out this evening to present to us, and we're looking forward to passing a resolution regarding this later tonight. So, Andrea, thank you very much. Next up on our agenda, if there are no additional public comments, next up on our agenda is our public hearings. The first is the adjournment from August 13th, 2020, regarding the local law face mask or face covering required on public property. Brian, just to confirm, it's adjourned, so we don't need to open this, correct?
Well, as I understand it from the last, I think Trustee Pallaro had it.
It looks like we have one more public speaker. Mr. Mayor and Russell, I apologize, but it looks like
Oh, okay.
someone
I
has
do
raised their hand on a couple of occasions. I just wanted to alert you guys. Sorry.
I do. I see that Evelyn Conrad has raised her hand. So,
Okay.
with your permission, Mr. Mayor, I'll have her join.
Please. Evelyn, welcome.
Unmute. Evelyn, you have to unmute.
Did.
There you go.
Hear me now?
There you go.
Excellent. Good evening, Mayor Jesse, members of the Board of Trustees. I am talking about two particular applications for new houses in the Roscoe Place subdivision, but only because they're timely. Actually, the entire subdivision is at issue in what I'm bringing to you. The ones I'm talking about are 28 Raymond's Lane before the ZBA, 31 Roscoe Drive before the ARB, scheduled for September hearings. Neither application can be granted because the legal insufficiency, according to New York state law, of both mailing lists announcing those two, the ZBA and the ARB public hearings. They do not include all the people they should, all the owners they should, and they include some that they shouldn't. In New York state, every property owner in a subdivision like the 67-lot Roscoe Place subdivision has the right to enforce his deed and the common plan and scheme of the subdivision against any other owner, past, present, or future, to exercise his constitutional property right. Every owner has to be timely informed about any upcoming public hearing for application for new houses. During the Epley administration, Mayor Epley's enforcer, former assistant village attorney Albert W. Robinson, made sure that only a few Roscoe Place property owners would be alerted to relevant ARB and ZBA public hearings. In fact, some of them weren't noticed at all, like Surveys 55 Ann's Lane. Never had any public hearing, never had any announcement at all. So you see, you've got a problem. Instead of using mailing lists alerting the legal property owners, Robinson applied the local law for announcement of public hearings. That was, the Epley bunch was able to silence the expected objections to the huge new houses, which violate neighbors' privacy, overbuild small lots, violate the deeds, all to satisfy the greed of spec builders when then Mayor Epley favored over the residents of the village. In 2017, Kim probably remembers this particularly, Wayne Bruin, who was then the new attorney, village attorney, in order to provide cover for what Robinson was doing, he told, what's her name, Nancy McGann, in a public hearing, that a local law can trump a state law. Well, of course, that's not true, but Kim, you still support the illegal announcement of public hearings, although you know it's illegal. You also fought the firing of Wayne Bruin, even though he had misinformed the trustees about the law, like saying that a local law can trump a state law. The result of Robinson's shenanigans, none of the owners of post-2005 houses in the Roscoe Place subdivision have legal grants for their application. They don't have legal C of Os. C of O is based on the building permit. The building permit is based on the grant for the applicant for whether it's ARB or ZBA, and those didn't happen to be legal, so the certificates of occupancy are not. The point is you're going to be having quite a big legal problem, and I hope that you'll—
We're at 3 minutes.
I have just one little bit more, please. Now, to add to the injuries, owners of the small ranches and colonials, in not only in the Roscoe neighborhood, but throughout the village, are now being socked and significantly increased property taxes, the town taxes, based on the McMansions that came in with the November 205 zoning code. This may give you a lot of liability. I do think you should take it very seriously.
You're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
You've got it. The point is, do ask me any questions you have. All the documents are the village's own documents, plus the law. All right?
Thank you, Evelyn, for the comments. We appreciate you joining us this evening. Russell, do we have any additional public comments? Okay. It does not sound like we do.
Nope.
So we can, thank you very much, Russell. We can move forward to the public hearing. Brian, I was asking if we need to open this because it was adjourned from the August 13th meeting, but this is the local law, face mask or face covering required on public property.
Correct. Correct, Mayor. Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. Yes, this was adjourned without any limitation, meaning that it was adjourned to today to allow additional public comment if necessary tonight.
Do they?
So,
the question is, does he need to have a motion to reopen the hearing?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so
Adjourned to today.
what I think we should do here, if there's no public comments in the public hearing, I think everything was kind of was well said and well documented at our last Board of Trustees public session meeting. So what could make sense, especially after speaking with Chief Cummings, who's here tonight, at the time when we were working on this and noticing it, we were taking the lead in the state as far as making this part of our local code to help our law enforcement. But since then, the state has caught up with us, and our chief believes that there's ample opportunity now for enforcement. And Chief, feel free to jump in if I'm, if there's anything you'd like to add. But with that said, I think we can do is I think that we could adjourn this maybe for next month or for down the road, unless Councilor Regan has any other way about doing this. But I think what we can do is we can leave this open in case things heat up, or in case we have an increase of cases, and in case we need to step in. But for now, we can essentially adjourn this, not maybe for 2 weeks, but maybe for a month out. We can see how things progress. We can thank Brian Egan for his efforts and creativity as far as taking the lead, as far as what we're calling the rest of the state, and take it from there. So Brian, let me know if that sounds okay to you, and then we could make that motion to adjourn.
Sure, I'm happy to address that, Mayor. So no, I think you're right. I mean, the timing was, in the world of municipal law, it was nearly simultaneous when the village of Southampton proposed this law and the Public Health Commissioner enacted his public health law regulations 66, subpart 66-3. What I'd recommend tonight is, again, we probably have to bring this back up if we did an extended adjournment for noticing anyway. So if I'd recommend tonight, just from a parliamentary perspective, that you make a motion to table the resolution, have the vote on the tabling, and then if necessary, we need to bring it up again in the future. Either the commissioner's regulation expires, or there's some other exigent circumstance that we feel law enforcement needs the additional tools. We can always bring that back up and notice it. But tonight, I would, along what you recommended, was a motion to table.
Very good. And is there a date we need to table? We can just table this indefinitely?
I would table it indefinitely.
Okay. All right. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to table this indefinitely. If there's any additional language, Brian, just let us know. But if that's sufficient, to make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fair, Mayor. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for everybody's input at our last board meeting. We now can move forward to suggested resolutions. Russell, per usual, we'll let you take this one. Thank you.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion resolved that the reading of the minutes for the public session of July 21st, 2020, and the special meeting of August 6th, 2020 be dispensed with, and that those minutes be accepted as filed with the village administrator, and that the actions taken at that meeting be hereby and are ratified and approved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Russell,
Yes.
discussion. The minutes that we receive in writing, are those the formal minutes, or is it the recording that is the formal minutes of the meeting?
Well, interesting. Under normal circumstances, the recording is the official minutes. However, Village Attorney Brian Egan may want to weigh in because we also are transcribing these Zoom meetings as per the requirement of the governor. So technically we have three sets. We have our summary meetings minutes, we have our video recording, and we also have a transcribed version.
Right.
That's my question, is because, because the transcribed are what is sent around and all of that. So I just want to make sure which, are we voting on all three?
No. So the video, this all is something new in municipal law to a certain extent, based on the, which is a good catch, is based on the governor's executive order that he required not only the video to be preserved, the video that we're watching, in order to be transcribed, and then the minutes that are official. The only thing you're actually making an approval of, which then becomes the official record, is the actual official minutes that Russell circulates. That's what you're going to be. That's
okay, perfect. All right, thank you for the clarification.
Okay, did we vote? Who said?
Very good query, Trustee Polero. Well done.
We said all in favor?
It was, yes, all in favor.
Okay, great. Okay.
Number 2.
Yep. Entertain a motion resolved that the claims for the warrants dated August 25th, 2020, totaling $11,796.82. Warrant number 7 of the general fund, 2019-2020 fiscal year, $80,593.58. Warrant number 6 of the general fund, and $86,063.52. Warrant number 3, capital reserve fund, be audited and approved.
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A discussion.
Okay.
Guys, sorry, just a couple of quick questions. We as Rich aptly pointed out, sometimes we have adjusted this, but I just have a couple of quick questions. I saw a few expenses I just wanted to review. Office of State Controller, $5,238. PSEG for $11,000, and Suffolk County Water Authority, and that is it.
Okay. Office of the State Controller is their portion of fines that were collected by the Justice Court. PSE&G is, our electric for, the entire village. All of our buildings, some of our street lights, park lighting, all of the electric throughout. And Suffolk County Water Authority is all of our watering. This time of year, obviously, it's a little higher because of of irrigation and the like.
Thank you, Russell. And then also there's a $15,000 expense for a mobile fleet and PTS data center for $21,214.
Yes, I have those.
So that's warrant H.
Right. Where did I write that? Oh. Mobile fleet is for the equipment for the Tahoe that was that there was a capital purchase that was authorized, I think, back in January, and this is the outfitting of the car. And the PTS Data Center Solutions is the second half of Chief for the radio room, correct?
The mobile fleet is definitely the new police Tahoe.
Correct.
It's in its final stages. It's just being the markings are being put on it. I'm not sure about the other one.
And I do have that. The other one is for the my note.
Chief, I told everybody you in New York City, not in San Francisco.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no New York City background. Sorry.
Chief, do you have to mandatory quarantine when you come back to New York?
I didn't leave New York. I went to Brooklyn.
Or is California one of those states?
No, I think the CDC. I think the CDC revoked the 14-day quarantine.
You know what it is?
I will be watching you.
Give me 10 seconds. We'll have it.
All right, thank you.
I'm hearing from one of my dispatchers that's probably the final payment on our battery backup system.
That's what it is. Exactly. Final payment on the battery backup. And that's the capital project that was also approved in January. Yep.
Got it. And just to kind of explain, just so we all could understand, what could you just describe the outfitting? What's involved?
Well, Yeah, the police car has all the lighting that OSHA requires, all the console, the brackets for the computers, the equipment that goes in the back of the car, all the labor to do all that. It's all done at Mobile Fleet. They have all the contracts. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for us to get the car set up.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate all the answers to the questions. Still quicker than in the past, but better to just clarify a few of those things. So thank you very much for everyone's patience. Russell, I think we can probably vote on this now.
All right. Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Southampton Youth Association to extend the basketball skills and drills program on Tuesdays and Thursdays through October 23rd, 2020 at the Southampton Village Basketball Courts on Wilman Lane.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just discussion real quick. I did not include the times because tonight there were some different times discussed from what's in the resolution. Right. So I've left the times out. But obviously the times will be coordinated between, the Parks Department, the Police Department. Everyone will be aware of the times. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Southampton Youth Association to offer a karate program Mondays and Fridays, September 14th through October 23rd, 2020 at Downs Family Park.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
On what we heard earlier was they're hoping that it will be at Downs, but they also asked about the Southampton Cultural Center for rain. Does that need to be added to the resolution? And Brian, do we need to go back to similar what we have done in the past at the park and make sure that there is the agreement between the entity and Southampton Village like we have done for yoga and a couple of the others because of the use of municipal?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And they've had it also. Yeah, it'll just be a continuation of all of that. Correct. Perfect.
And also they insurance naming us additionally insured on their property and holding us indemnifying us as well.
Yeah.
If you'd like, we could entertain a motion to amend to read at a village facility to be determined.
So
we only vetted it between Downs Park and the basketball court. We didn't add this to our vetting, but that would solve it. Thank you, Russell. And I understand the intent. It would help, but yes.
I also think we need to make sure again with planning, because I know that the Southampton Cultural Center is, planning on having certain things. So we want to make sure that it's not in conflict with some of the music lessons or some of the things that they may try and open up as they move into the fall season, because right now they still are doing very limited at the Southampton Cultural Center today.
And I will also add that they are going to also work around because our soccer programs and our baseball programs run into the fall as well at Downs Park. So we're going to work schedules around, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
So entertain a motion to amend from Downs Family Park to Southampton Village Facility.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. On the underlying resolution now, all in favor as amended?
All right.
Aye.
All right. Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes Art Walk in the Southampton Business District on August 29th and 30th, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that pursuant to its authority under Section 86(6) of the Village Code, the Board of Trustees hereby requires beach parking permits to park at Cooper's Neck Beach on Saturdays and Sundays from September 12th through September 27th, 2020.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby declares the following equipment surplus and authorizes the DPW superintendent to sell by auction. Smith Co. Lawn Sweep Star 48H with a 2005 Kohler Command 25 horsepower motor, model CH7305.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Just quick discussion. I asked why we would be selling this piece of equipment. Because we've upgraded our mowers to mulch mowers, we no longer need to follow behind the mowers with a lawn sweeper to pick up the grass clippings. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor Warren makes a motion. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hires Alfred Callahan to the title of Public Safety Dispatcher 1, Suffolk County Civil Service eligible list number 20EL297 in the Police Department at a starting salary of $49,194.95 effective September 4th, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion.
Aren't we supposed to be having two?
Trustee Parrish, it's not about supposed to be. I would love to appoint and hire a second dispatcher. We are definitely, I would definitely say we're short-staffed. The town of Southampton is probably short-staffed. The town of Riverhead is probably short-staffed. I think everyone is looking for dispatchers right now. We had good interviews today. I actually interviewed, of course, Alfie, who we're about to appoint. In addition, Christian and George.
I don't know if we want to do names.
Okay, well, I guess we'll leave names from here on out off, but the only thing I will say is that we'd love to appoint two. We need to appoint two as soon as possible. I would just like the chief to maybe finish the interviews so we can, I did speak to one candidate. He said he was not interviewed, so I would just be remiss to appoint this person if you haven't interviewed him. So I'd like, if that's okay, chief, if you can do the interview, we can call a special meeting tomorrow. We can get it done. But I just want to make sure we actually interview the candidates on the civil service list.
But didn't we, when we spoke, there was two or three candidates already with the civil service list. Am I correct on that? Or did that list expire? Or how are we getting around this?
Currently, what the mayor is speaking about is candidates that we recanvassed the list because after we made the last appointment, that was the last appointment we could make. So we asked for the list again, we recanvassed the list, and the mayor is speaking about people who have scored in the top three scoring that responded to the village and said they were interested.
So anything you'd like to add on that, Chief?
I mean, we can do a quick interview tomorrow. The problem with the person we haven't interviewed is they're not cleared to be hired yet. So we'd have to wait for them if we chose them. So, I mean, it's obviously up to all of you what we're going to do going forward.
So if I may, Chief, so we have a few candidates in the pipeline, if you will. One of which was just made a resolution for, and others. And of that, we have some that have to still get vetted. And we have, an option of someone that has been vetted, cleared in the system, trained, and is ready to hit the ground running. Can you just clarify, what the advantages and pitfalls are to as generally as we can say clearly to the public with these candidates?
Well, we have one candidate who's at the top of the list who's already got 10 years experience in a neighboring department. I can't really obviously get into too much detail because it would be identifiable. We've interviewed him twice. Good candidate. We have another candidate that's tied for, on the next marker 95. He's tied with Alfie Callahan. Civil service wasn't doing any testing during COVID, so they're behind. Could be a good candidate, but because of the lack of testing, that person isn't cleared to be hired tonight or tomorrow even. They'd have to get the medical testing done by the county police, or actually it's civil service. And they might be a good candidate, but can't hire them until, we can hire them and hope they pass the medical, but that's somewhere down the road. We're not, I'm not sure of a date on that.
Okay, so there's still a few more hoops that this particular candidate would have to go through, like any other candidate, just coming around. So, so what you're saying is if any candidate that already has been vetted and vetted through the system, the timeline could be best worst case scenario, how long?
If we hire,
2 months?
Well, I'm not sure, a month to 2 months, yeah. The other candidate would be as quickly as they gave notice to their other job and started with us.
If you have a candidate on the list who has been vetted in the system, that candidate would be available to, if they're still interested, then come into your system, the village system, again, fairly immediately, and then there would not be any extra hoops to go through other than some acclimation. Is that correct?
Yeah. One candidate is based as all the training that's common to every dispatch center in Suffolk. They would just have to learn what we do differently, which is like our software for our records management system. The other person would have to start from scratch, just like Alfie Callahan's going to, for the most, I mean, Alfie's a fire chief, so he has some background, but beyond that, they both would have to start from scratch.
So it'll be helpful because we're down a few. And again, the mayor pointed out, which is correct, everybody has a shortage no matter where you go. There's desire. But we are in a unique situation where we have a list of candidates who thankfully are willing to come to the village. That is, we're fortunate for that, and the village residents are fortunate for that. Seeing as we're looking, that there are few required, and there are more than one or two candidates required going forward, would there be any advantage to grabbing one we have and then still vetting the other one going forward? I mean, and again, I ask that to you, Mayor, and the board. I bring it out to kind of anybody's thoughts on this, because we've discussed PSDs for a while. There's been a discussion for some time on it. We've actually hired some good candidates that, again, declined to stay further in their position. One lasted 2 months, fine, and then one lasted a week, which is actually better for the village and the department because they decided soon instead of dragging us along. So we've added and done a good, getting you something, and it haven't worked out. So could there be an argument made that we have one that's ready to come in, ready to go, not looking to, I mean, there's no crystal ball, but looking to leave in the foreseeable future, actually pretty much ready to be domiciled with SVPD? Is there an advantage to kind of look at that person and still vet the other person for the next slot, which we're still looking for? Is that a fair statement?
Well, I mean, we have 2 vacancies. We're budgeted for the 2 vacancies. We could hire 2 and then continue to vet the list. There's probably only about, I don't have it in front of me, but maybe a dozen more candidates that still need testing from Suffolk County Civil Service. And if any of this doesn't work out, or one of our current dispatchers decides to leave, we'd have other candidates ready to go. So I think we probably, in a perfect world, we would hire the 2 tonight that are available and then continue to work on the list and get some other candidates that would be good choices as a backup.
So it sounds like we do have 2 then, that we have one that is on the resolution, and there's another that scored just as high as the current candidate. And it sounds like Chief and Rich, from what you said, has definitely have experience, and he's ready to come on over, and he's done this for 10 years, I believe you said. That seems like something that should be jumped on, especially with a shortage, and based on the fact that we are having, a shortage in our own department. So it sounds like we have close to a perfect 2 people based on their scoring, and one actually which is ready to go without any training.
Trustee Parrish, just so you know, both candidates were good. All 3 candidates were really strong. I'm number one. I'm just asking for us to interview all 3 candidates. I think each 3 candidates deserves an interview. We should not interview one candidate. And they both have relevant experience in this field. So they both have strong backgrounds. They both want the job. I think either candidate that we go with will be really good. But I think we do owe it to the 3 candidates to actually interview them. Be nice. I mean, they both want the job. One candidate as a family would love it. And I think that they're both good candidates. And like I said, happy to do it. I think we should just interview them. I think I would never hire a candidate without interviewing that candidate. I think that's not a good practice. So I think if we interview them, we could actually then move forward and hire them rather than just jumping the gun. So that's simply what I would ask for. And I don't think you would ever hire a person to work at your business without interviewing them first.
So Mayor, so then if again, so you're saying that, because you've spoken to the candidates and I appreciate you doing that. That's doing your due diligence. So, so if I get this right, you're recommending to the, at the very least, the chief at least speak, well, not speak to her, he's spoken to, but interview the one candidate, the newly added candidate, if you will, before going any further. Is that really what you'd like to see, Mayor?
Again, I would just love an interview. If we choose to go with one candidate over other, great. I just want to give each candidate a fair shake at it, and then if we opt to go with one over the other, then we'll do it. We could easily schedule a meeting. We could hire that person. It is what it is. We're not going to name geographies, but who knows when that person can join us. If we hire this person from another municipality that is our neighbor, then we're going to put that neighbor's municipality in a worse short-staffed position. So who knows when that person could come over also. I think we should just take that into consideration as well. Again, all good candidates. We're happy to have any of them, all of them, two of them. But I think that's pretty much all I'm asking. I hope I've, again, articulating that clearly enough.
Thanks.
Okay, so just one more question. Mayor, so you're telling me that one person's only been interviewed, and that is the current one on the resolution?
No, two candidates have been interviewed, one candidate has not. So there's 3 candidates for 2 positions.
So 2 of the 3 have been interviewed already?
That's correct. I interviewed all 3.
You interviewed all 3. And so is there a problem with one of them? Do you feel you have to wait, or is there anything with that?
I just didn't want to appoint somebody without the chief interviewing him first.
So Chief, you haven't interviewed 2 of the 3 either?
I've interviewed 2 out of the 3.
So Mayor, you would like the chief to interview that other candidate and then take it from there? Is that what you're asking for at the very least?
That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And as soon as the interview's done, we can make the hire.
The only problem is the third person that we haven't interviewed can't start until civil service clears them. They're not cleared yet.
And it goes back to what I think Rich asked before. It could be 1 to 2 months, right? And if we lose this other person, then we're back at square one again.
We're not going to lose the other person. And it could be 1 to 2 months. The other person also, we don't know, because that person's municipality might say, no, please don't leave. We're also short-staffed here.
I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, it's possible.
How soon could you grab an interview with that third candidate? Is that even if something? Obviously, you've spoken to him already, so there's already been kind of a part of the vetting going on there. So just by merely him existing on the list,
we can try tomorrow. I mean, we just got this new list in the last couple of days, so we haven't had time to go through every candidate on the list yet.
Right. There's, if there's a way to do that in an expeditious manner to kind of at least, appease any questions or thoughts, and at least go through the process. Any other thoughts from the board, or I mean, Mayor, you made your point clear. I understand there's 3 names. 2 you've interviewed them, you spoke to them. I appreciate you reaching out to them. Again, I don't want to elongate the process. It's a process we've started quite not well. It's an ongoing process, which I won't elaborate on, but it's always going on. But at least this particular process has been going on for a year. And again, we've tried other candidates. So again, I'm all for grabbing what we got. Somebody's qualified and already been interviewed and cleared, while simultaneously interviewing anyone that's interested, which is, again, we're in a fortunate position. It's a nice problem to have people that are interested coming to the village, because we're revered and respected as an institution. I don't know. What do you think, Chief? What do
I mean, obviously it's not up to me, but I'd like to hire the two that are available right away, and go through the rest of the list, and have people in reserve for the next possible opening. But obviously not my choice.
Again, I don't think that one is available sooner than the other. It might be the opposite, actually. All I'm asking for is just to interview. I thought he was a good candidate, so just to interview him. If you don't like him, fine, we can go with the other candidates. But at least maybe interview the person, so we can then make a final decision. This is someone who hopefully will be with us for decades to come. So I think that the least we can do is do an interview and make sure we hire and invest in the right people and the best people. But I thought they were all good. But again, if we're going to be hiring someone for a decade or more, I think it's worth a 5 to 10 minute interview.
So if the chief does the interview and goes through the vetting process with what he does and his superior office staff, then we can come back. He can come back to you, and then we can go from there. And that could be done in a fairly quickly manner, even if we do a special call on that. Is that what you're saying, Mayor?
Sure, it could be done tomorrow.
Okay with that, Chief?
I mean, if that's what you all want to do, I need 2 dispatches. If it's going to take an extra interview to get it done, that's what we'll do.
I'm not prepared to make a second appointment tonight, but I would like for you to interview the candidate first.
All right. Well, thank you for then that's clear, and that's fine. That's where you're at, and that's fine. I want everybody. So then let's get the chief to go on and satisfy the request of you and the board of going through the interview, and I'm sure that the person will be eager to accommodate. And if you're willing to move forward at a fairly quickly pace, because of, again, we are under the gun with circumstances of staffing. And
thanks, Rich. I mean, imagine hiring someone for the DPW department without Gary interviewing that person.
No, I understand.
That would not be a good idea.
No, Mayor, I understand your point. That's what I'm saying. So I think it's something that can be done and accommodated in a fairly quick fashion. And I think there can be a remedy to this fairly quickly. And again, I hate to use fairly quickly because I wanted to make it sound like we're trying to jump the gun on this, but it has been a lengthy discussion. It's been discussed for a while, and there is an immediate need, and maybe even more going forward. So, again, if, Chief, if you're, the mayor, at least go out and interview this person, and then we go from there.
I'll come back to you right away.
They can move it quickly, which is the good news, I think. So I mean, I think I understand your point, Mayor. So I think we can cover that.
Okay. Thank you, Rich.
All right, moving on. Mayor Warren makes a motion, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees ratifies the hiring of St. Tino Arnold as a beach attendant at Cooper's Beach at a rate of $11 per hour, effective August 25th, 2020.
Russell, I don't think we voted on the appointment of Alfie Callahan.
Yes.
Kathy has it as that we did all in favor, and it was yes, and then there was a question
by Trustee Parrish.
and then discussion by Trustee Parrish.
Voice in the background is heard.
Yes.
The voice behind the curtain.
We got 4 years working over here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Always better than 2.
All right. So, Mayor, would you like to make that motion on number 9?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tino in the house.
Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the appointing of the following individual as an election inspector for the village election on September 15th, 2020, effective August 6th, 2020.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor Warren makes a motion. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees creates the title Assistant to the Mayor and appoints Amy Kerwin, Assistant to the Mayor, subject to the approval of Suffolk County Civil Service in the Mayor's Office, effective August 28th, 2020, an annual salary of $90,176.50.
So moved.
Second?
Second, but we have a discussion on it. So I think there's some discussion as far as, what are we hiring on a second, or is there a discussion with details on it? That's Russ.
I don't have, it's up to the board if they have discussion. This is a resolution that the mayor put forth, as as all hiring resolutions are put forth, with his, I follow with his direction.
Okay. I think there's a discussion on that, as far as and Mayor, if you will, if you don't mind elaborating, or, I mean, I don't know if this should be more of an executive session discussion, Counselor, or is this something that?
I'm happy to work with the board in any way here. If we prefer to go to executive session, we can do it.
I think as a personal matter, I mean, we're talking about a position that's been discussed, and it was brought up last time, Mayor, and I think there's some discussion from people on it, and some answers to discuss, but which is fine. But I'm in a personal thought that when we start talking any personal issue about a particular person in a particular position, and certainly a particular salary, usually we reserve that to, I think, executive session. But Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope, you're 100% right, Trustee. Look, this is if you want to talk about the fundamentals of positions and assistant or something else, that's a fine discussion for here. But matters of specifically the personnel to people and to salary should really be reserved, and qualifications, et cetera, should really be reserved to executive session. So the question now, what you have is you have a motion, you have a second, you now have a discussion. The question is, do you want to you want to have the discussion? Do you feel you need an executive session fleshing out? Or do you want to call for the vote and have the motion and the second and see if there are sufficient votes as is? But as of right now, the floor is open for discussion.
I think that part of the discussion is, and I know that, one of the things that we talked about last time is everyone agrees that there's discussion and need, or there's a need for the mayor to have an assistant that reports directly to him. The bigger conversation is all of Village Hall, and that was a discussion, Mayor, that you and I had, and I thought we were working together to try and bridge everything and make it all. So, that has kind of been left to the side where this part has come forward. So in my mind, I'd love to again engage directly about the total personnel of Village Hall and where that is going. And because that has yet to be, that you've yet to engage the board on that. Yet here we are now just having this resolution brought back up after last time, you took it off yourself. So.
Yes, I just wanted to give, you a little more time to think about it. I didn't want anyone to say that they didn't know about it. This is an appointment to an assistant position, which we do have budgeted, the same way we have 2 dispatchers positions budgeted. So I'm happy to take this to executive session. It is no problem at all.
But I mean, we didn't know about it because this was put on the agenda at this afternoon. It wasn't put on the first draft of the agenda. It wasn't until today, 3 hours before the meeting, that this was added, or actually even.
Okay.
So again, actually, it was even less than that. Where it was. So that's here it is. It was at 4:50. It was at 4:54 that it was added to an agenda that was sent to the trustees. That's certainly not a lot of time for discussion and talk. So
this
I'm happy
was,
to go into executive session and discuss, but again, from my perspective, the totality of looking at Village Hall is what I think is a bigger discussion that we certainly can have as the trustees here.
okay. This was, again, not something that was added at the last minute. This was discussed at the last board meeting, or not discussed. This was put on the agenda and withdrawn so that there was more time for everyone to digest this and to process it. I don't know why there seemed to be a thought of a surprise. I was under the impression that this would be on this agenda, considering it was on last meeting's agenda and withdrawn. Listen, this is everything needs to be ratified by the Board of Trustees. I would hope and think that hiring an assistant to the mayor for a pre-budgeted position would be ratified, but I'm also willing to work with this board until you guys are comfortable with this position and that is that. So I'm happy to withdraw. I'm happy to take this to executive session. Perhaps we can go into executive session and then resolve this after executive session.
I think that would be a great idea.
So I'm happy to do that, and so I guess I will make a motion to table Resolution 11.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That being said, we now have comments from board members. The first is Trustee Ostremski.
No, I think I said a lot last time. So to cover for some, and seeing I was just informed at the beginning of this meeting that I'll save it all for perhaps the last one. But no, I'm good. I have no comments, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Ostremski. We'll be looking forward to the next one. Trustee Allen.
Unmute.
Trustee Allen.
Can you hear me now? Good. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to say this critical thing, which is if you have not filled out your census, you need to do it. New York State pays more taxes to the federal government than 47 other states, yet we only get 90 cents on the dollar back. So it would be it's just a reminder to make sure we fill it out. Apparently the federal government has extended the date for us to complete it. And all you have to do is go to 2020census.gov. And all of it helps us get money for education, public transit, highways, community development. I'm sure Councilor Egan knows every single little bit, but that's it. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Trustee Allen. Next is Trustee Parrish.
Good evening, everybody. Not much to report this week. Everything's going pretty smoothly according to my department heads. I do have one announcement. Cooper's Beach will be having a sand castle contest. It is going to be virtual. It is going to be set up to the fact that between, I think, the September 1st to the 6th, you'll be able to create your sand castle at Cooper's Beach, take pictures of it, send it into, I don't have specific yet, but the beach manager is working on it. But that will not be something that's going to be missed this year. So there's going to be virtual. And you have 5 to 6 days to do it. And I think it was a great idea by Matt Weeks to get that so we can continue that tradition. So that's about all the news that I have. Thank you.
Pretty cool.
Thank you, Trustee Parrish. That's great news. We're really excited for it. And thanks to Matt Weeks for helping set that up. And this should be a good one, despite virtually. So thank you again. Trustee Solaro.
Good evening, Mayor Warren and everyone. I've got nothing. I was going to mention the beach. Everything seems to be going well there as well. We did tonight say that we are going to have parking stickers through the end of the month, and that is because we will have lifeguard services on weekends through the end of the month. We anticipate that more people will probably be out here on weekends, so we wanted to make sure that the public was safe with having lifeguards on.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you very much, Trustee Polaro. And in light of our brief meeting tonight, I will also keep our comments to a minimum, but did want to say congratulations to Santino. Great guy, member of the Southampton High School cross country team. So we're excited to have him as part of our team at Cooper's Beach. And also congratulations to Alfie. He's done a great job at our fire department. And we're looking forward to have him joining our team. And we're also looking forward to appointing a second dispatcher as soon as possible, so that our dispatchers who are doing a great job answering our 911 phone calls, making sure our response times are best in the county, can continue to do their jobs to the best of their ability. And so we're excited to bring on a second, and that still will still be a bit short staffed, but it's great to get more of a full team on board. So we're looking forward to all that. So thank you everybody for your help this meeting. And with that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Give me a second to do this so that I make sure that the attendees are not part of.
And I just want to also, just for the purpose of the personnel, the stated purpose of the executive session.
Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Counselor.
We're back recording. I'm not going to go on YouTube. Go ahead.
All right. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Brian, did you want to just make a quick comment that we've come out of executive session and that no action was taken?
Do your legalese.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we went into executive session with no action taken in executive session. The executive session was adjourned, and now we're back into public session.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now that we're back in public session, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn our public session.
Is there a second? Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.